Shut up and sit down.
And welcome to the People's Review Podcast. That's right. It's me, Bobby, the Joes, along with my co-host.
I'm Dylan the Mick.
Oh!
Hey! Why are you such a piece of shit all the time? Hey!
Hey!
I'm trying to be a dick over here. Hey!
Mark?
That's what people
Is
from
that
New
you?
York sound like. Yep, it's me. I'm coming to you live from my 2012 MacBook Pro.
And I'm coming to you live from my 2020 MacBook Pro.
Well, Mr. fucking fancy over here. You got one of them Retina displays?
I'm just kidding. I have a MacBook Air. Fucking poor.
Oh, you douche. I heard that thing's good. But we're not here to talk about the scam that is Apple products. Which, I mean, I got a lot to say about that. But we're here to talk about Jose's favorite movie, the B movie. Nope. Basketball Diaries.
Wait. First of all, not my favorite movie. A decent movie that I once watched many years ago that I was like, let's watch it again because it has a lot of people from The Sopranos and it has young Leo with his little baby face.
And it's in New York. Hey, guys, suck my fucking balls. Hey.
Oh, I'm about to... Yeah. Oh, shit, I got it all over that guy's hair.
Yeah. Basketball Diaries starring Leo and
Mark Wahlberg,
some other people.
Lorraine Bracco.
Wait, what? Wait, that was Donnie Wahlberg?
No, that was Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, I know you told me that last week, but I just didn't make the connection till now.
It's because he looks so young. He's like a baby.
Yeah, he looks like a knockoff Wahlberg.
This is after
it makes sense,
New Kids on the Block.
Like Boston accent, New York accent. It's like similar but different. He can just tweak it just enough, you know?
Yeah, and, heroin addiction is universal, so you can just put it right there, too, on the acting scale.
Yep. Yeah, amongst the universal languages, mathematics, music, heroin. There you go.
The big three.
Yeah, it's the big three. Yeah, this is the Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett of universal languages.
I was talking about LeBron, D Wade, and the Bosch.
Oh, also a very good big three. I mean, let's give them their props. They did win 2 back-to-backs and go to 4 finals in a row. I mean, damn.
I mean, we got to talk about basketball while watching a basketball movie.
Yeah. So the Basketball Diaries. Well, why don't you tell me what the Basketball Diaries are about? As if I did not watch this film.
All right, so the Basketball Diaries is a true story based on Jim Carroll's life. Jim Carroll was a young, promising basketball player whose friend's death pretty much led him down the path of narcotics. He started off with small stuff like huffing alcohol. Then he moved on to cocaine, and finally he got into heroin. And he pretty much destroyed his life and his basketball career from drugs. It's that old age tale of drugs will ruin your life. And we see him spiral down his path where he starts to commit crimes. His mother disowns him after she finds out that he's been doing drugs. And then him and his friends all start heading down his path, except for one friend who stayed on the clean and narrow. And it's pretty much his spiral from being a young, innocent boy to being a cast off of society. And his struggles with drug abuse and his eventual rehabilitation of getting clean. And his poetry is what helped him escape it after being in jail.
Yes. So this is on one hand, this is a tragic tale of drug use, of failed promises, of loss of innocence. And on the other hand, it's like the second coming of Reefer Madness. In terms of like how like this might as well be a Dare video at some point. Like there's some scenes where like, okay, so Leo, or Jim, the character, goes down in the basement and he's like, I met two dudes who were like, oh, if you're gonna snort it, why don't you just use a needle, man? We're all doing it. Like, it might as well be like those, like, in Dare where they were like, what happens when you're hanging out with a group of boys and they bring out some wine coolers?
It obviously leads straight to heroin, like every time.
Yeah. Okay, what is a wine cooler? I've never fucking seen a wine cooler. I don't know what the fuck a wine cooler is. Is that like a Mike's Hard Lemonade? Is that what they're calling it? Like some fruity drink?
I have no idea. I've honestly never seen a wine cooler in my entire life, but I've heard
But
it only on TV.
About, like,
yeah.
They always talk about in Dare, they're like, oh, where'd they bring out the wine coolers and the cigarettes?
I didn't know cigarettes led straight to heroin. It doesn't even like...
Oh, yeah, it's a slippery slope. But I guess that's sort of the thing about addiction, right? Like, some people can some people have crazy college years where they drink, smoke weed, maybe get into a little other stuff, but then, like, after college, they just live a normal life. And some people, one thing leads to the next thing, leads to the next thing, leads to the next high, and so on and so on. So some people just have that, like...
addictive personality.
I hesitate to say trait, but... they just can't stop. They can't control themselves, or at least based on some drug stories I've heard from famous people who have done drugs.
Well, I mean, the whole point of drugs is to escape from the pain, right? It's that one moment where you feel good and you forget all the worries you have in your life.
Yeah, exactly, and I think people in general like getting fucked up. I mean, look at like the history of like prohibition and like how that sort of, and now alcohol is such a huge business, like so much marketing and business is done based on people wanting to get fucked up. And that's just alcohol. Like, once you get past that to the more illegal and more potent substances, the highers get high, but the consequences grow, right?
Yeah, but even like stuff like Vicodin, it's legal, but it can still fuck up your life just as bad as anything else.
But then again, like a legal prescription for Vicodin is like, take a pill because you've just had like mouth surgery, and this is strong enough that you will not feel the pain. As opposed to, here's my addiction. It's not like, and then you take 10 of them.
I mean,
or something.
That's the thing, though. Like, even like I had my when I got my root canal done, they gave me like 30 pills of Vicodin. Like, who needs this much Vicodin for something that goes away like after a week?
Jesus. I mean, man. But for medical use, Vicodin fucking works, and that's why it's scary.
Right, but it also has that counter effect of being very addictive. That's why a lot of like athletes and other people who go through a lot of pain usually get addicted to stuff like Vicodin.
Oh yeah, because I mean it's potent because it really does numb the pain, but then one pill doesn't work, and then two pills don't work. I have like a weird a memory of like getting not tonsil, maybe it was tonsils or something, or wisdom teeth surgery, or they remove your wisdom teeth and they give you some Vicodin. I was like 17 at the time, and I was just taking, my mother was just giving them, like, not giving them to me, but just like, but was regulating it, and then like after a couple of days was like, no, you're gonna use ibuprofen. So I was not even, not that I was like in a condition to be like, I want to get high, but Mom, give me the dope.
Give me the Vikes, Mom.
I've been eating pudding for like 3 straight days.
Root canal is getting your wisdom teeth removed is the fucking worst.
Wisdom teeth, yeah.
I had the worst.
I missed a whole week of school though. It was sick.
I got mine done the week before finals, my junior year of college. The fucking worst.
What? Who timed that?
So what happened with me was I started getting really bad pains in my mouth, so I had to like the next day schedule it because it was like unbearable pain.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
So, now or never.
Pretty much.
Or not now or never, or now or continue to live in misery.
Now or never, plus $5,000 worth of like paying out of
Jesus,
pocket.
were you even awake for your finals? Like,
honestly, like that whole week was a blur.
did you pass them?
Oh yeah, I mean, here I am, college graduate.
There you go. But yeah, so there's just this movie, like I mentioned the Reefer Madness comparison earlier, because if you don't know, Reefer Madness is a famous, I think it's 50s or 60s film, and it really like over sensationalized dope, and like, oh, you smoke weed, you become a crazy person, ooh, and like that film was mostly propaganda and like a goofy like don't do drugs kind of way, but this film also has a lot of very serious scenes and very graphic moments, or not graphic, but realistic depictions of what someone coming off of a bender would be like, or what someone in withdrawal would be like, or things like that. So, but also mixed with the scene where there's like a dream sequence where he shoots a bunch of people in his school.
Yeah, I was watching that scene. I was like, this would be not flying at all right now, especially with what's happening.
Yeah, according to the Wikipedia page, they did like later on sort of get like people were trying to blame like Columbine on this film, which it is my opinion that the creator of a thing is not responsible for what people do with that art, right? I don't know. It's a hard thing. Like, I'm getting a little off topic, or sort of on topic, but the Pepe meme?
Yeah.
Or the frog drawing? So it was designed by like some hippie dude who just wanted to who was just making some web comics. And then people saw it, people started using it, reposting it, and now it's on like the registry for like hate images because it's been used in a lot of anti-Semitic ways. And like listed right there is the creator who, based on like there was a whole documentary made, and like this dude is just like a ditzy artist in the best possible way. Like these people who are just like they don't care about anything, they just want to focus on their art, pretty free loose, free spirited guy who pretty much does not hate, is not an anti-Semite, but is now responsible for this hate symbol. But it's not his fault. Same with like violence in video games. Oh, is the violence in video games to blame for school shootings? Like, no, you just raised a shitty kid.
Well, let's not diverge too much into that topic, but
yeah, it's a whole can of
exactly.
worms. Because I think this scene may be unnecessary, but it's also, I found it fucking hilarious. Like, it's just goofy. Like, he just goes in, he looks like fucking like Max Payne, is holding a shotgun with one hand, just blasting people while his friends are sitting next to them going like, yeah! And like just people, just random dudes just getting blasted. And just like while his friends are just like cheering and high-fiving, it's just like the goofiest fucking thing. A perfect example of the mismatched tones this film is going for. That or the scene where he jacks off on a roof.
That is literally
like
every 15-year-old's dream, Dylan. It's the dream.
No, it isn't. What? Don't you guys have like bathrooms or your own rooms? You can shut the door.
Well, he didn't. He lived in a cramped little apartment with his mom, and he probably didn't have a lock on his door.
There's no locks on the roof.
Yeah, but nobody goes to the roof. It's the dream.
So you're telling me he's just... This is why we put the explicit tag on our podcast. But you're telling me there's just dried up semen all up on this roof. Is that what you're telling me?
Dylan,
just like maybe get washed away by the rain?
I have no idea what he's doing up there with it.
No, we saw what he was doing.
Well, we know what he was doing, but we don't know how he disposed of it.
You know what? And it's better that I don't know.
Exactly. Just leave it to the imagination of sicker people.
So yeah, those are two scenes that I wanted to talk about. So yeah, this is yeah. What scenes do you want to talk about, Jose? Anything stick out to you besides those two bangers?
Oh man, there's so much in this movie.
There really is. It's for anything negative I can say about this film. It is entertaining and there's lots of stuff happening.
So I guess the first scene I'd like to really talk about is the Bobby scene after he dies. So we learned that Bobby, who's played by Michael Imperioli, who at the time was 28 years old. So he was a 28-year-old playing a 16-year-old who had...
That kind of makes sense because for that disease, it sort of makes you look older. So
That's true.
Cast a slightly older person.
So after the night out with Jimmy, who's played by Leo, a little bit after that, Bobby dies. We see his body in the casket. We see right there Jimmy, kind of like, you know, he can't really believe that somebody who was so close to him could just like that vanish. And then the scene afterwards where we see the four boys, Pedro, Mickey, Jimmy. I can't remember the fourth guy's name for the life of me right now.
Oh, Neutron?
Neutron, yep, Jimmy and Neutron. And that's totally not a show.
Hey!
So they're all just, you know, hanging out by the basketball court, drinking 40s, I assume. They got the nice little paper bag, you know, just
classic paper bag setup.
Exactly, classic paper bag setup. And I'm like this. I believe the story takes around like the 60s, 70s because no way these kids would be able to get alcohol that easily.
Good question. When does this film take place?
So Jim Carroll, whose life is based off, was born in 1949. So he would have been around 16 in the mid 60s.
Yeah, so it'd be like mid to late. Yeah, if it was 16, then yeah, that's like 65, 66, if that math lines up. So yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So, but you know, this is a retelling, so it could be the 70s too.
There definitely were no cell phones.
Yeah, definitely no cell phones. Definitely no Uber. Definitely no Uber Black. So you couldn't even get a really fancy.
I was thinking about that. Like, there's that in the scene that you're talking about. They're all walking in the rain, and just like no umbrellas, no nothing. I'm like that would not happen in our age. Like we'd be running inside because our phones would get fried up.
Oh yeah, you think I'm gonna risk my $1,200 phone for a fucking walk in the rain?
My Bluetooth headphones. Oh,
that's
my
not
AirPods.
But just like you know the general vibe of everybody at that moment, you know, they're all upset. But Jimmy was the only one who was really taking it hard because it seemed like he was the only one who was still, you know, going to see Bobby, visiting him, you know, trying to cheer him up because, you know, his disease kind of secluded him from the outside world. And it must have been even tougher knowing that all these people you were friends with kind of just like stopped going to see you, and the only person who went to see you was Jimmy. And that's why I think you could really start to see his descent into him not being himself anymore because, you know, this person we held special to him was no longer there.
Yeah, and I think I like to piggyback on what you said a little earlier, where it's like, I mean, that's when you know who your friends are, right? Like, who's taking the extra time to do those things and to check in on you. And some people are just there because it's convenient, right? Some people you're just friends with because you go to the same school, or you work at the same place, or you're doing the same thing. But and man, there's nothing more like lonely than sitting in a fucking hospital. Like, you know, just in general, even in the great age of the 2020s.
Yeah, I mean, especially then, you know, there's nothing to do. You're just like staring at the wall all day. That's how his room felt, you know. It was just like,
yeah.
He maybe had a book. I don't know.
And he was like, you know, pretty aware that he wasn't going to make it. And just what a what a lot to take in, and I think this is also where we're supposed to see that Jimmy is a good person. Because we start seeing him off. He's like being a dick because all of his friends are kind of dicks, and like especially Mickey and stuff. But he wants to be a good person. He's just in a bad environment.
It happens to a lot of people. They're good people on the inside, but the crowd they hang out with is more of a negative kind of crowd, and sometimes it's that group mentality, right? When you're with your group, you're always going to do what the group does, because guess what? Being the individual is going to just get you picked on, just like Pedro was.
Exactly. Or actually, this actually transitions to one of the other scenes I wanted to talk about. There's a scene where Pedro, Jimmy, and Mickey are all take pills before the game, but they're not uppers, they're downers. So they're like flopping around on the court, passing out, and the guy who calls them out on it is Neutron, and I think he ends up being the guy who rats him out. And to a druggie, this is a betrayal, right? You betrayed our friendship. You're a dick. But he's doing it because he's seeing the path that they're going down, and it's a bad one, right? So he has to take that stand against his best friends because he sees what's going on. He sees what the heroin's doing, sees what the drugs are having an effect on them. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to stand on the other side morally sometimes when your best friends are on the other.
No, it's definitely difficult, especially sometimes when it comes to friends. It's tough to say, like, listen, man, you're doing a little bit too much heroin. Maybe you should ease down. Sometimes they're not gonna listen to you because they're just gonna think that. I don't know. I don't know. I've always felt like it's tough to sometimes tell some people the truth because, it might hurt them a lot more than it might hurt you.
Yeah, truth hurts.
It does.
And I think there's also, you know who Kenny Smith is? The basketball former player and
You mean
TNT
Kenny
analyst?
the Jet Smith?
Kenny the Jet Smith? The Yeah, so beyond like the meme that Kenny is, he was talking on some sort of basketball panel show earlier, and they're talking about like guys who didn't make it, and he was saying like I was never the best player in my neighborhood. I wasn't like there were people that were better than me, but they got into drugs or they got into crime, and I stuck with basketball, and I made it to the NBA because I put in the work. I avoided those like negative things, and I made it. And I think that's sort of what you see happen with Neutron, where, like, in the story, I'm presuming that Jimmy was the best basketball player. And you see the highlights, or see the shots at the beginning. They're making tons of layups, playing good ball, lots of passes, flashy passes, all that stuff. But they went and did heroin, got kicked off the team. Neutron stayed, and now he's going to get a scholarship. Right? So it's just, not everyone that grows with you can come with you sometimes. So if you want to make that better life for yourself, sometimes you can't, you got to distance yourself from those negative people.
And listen, even people who do kind of make it, there's still times where drugs and other things can still ruin their future career. There's a lot of players, one comes to my mind, Len Bias, who tragically died like a couple of days after he was drafted by the Celtics. Yeah,
that was, I wasn't alive. I don't think neither of us were alive at the time. Or maybe it was 93, but I would have been either in a stomach or a baby. But what a tragic fucking story.
If you think about more recently, what about Lamar Odom? This guy goes from being in the big three of the Lakers to out of the league, out of the blue. Like, I don't even remember him getting kicked out of the league, and then it starts to reveal itself that it was like drugs, sex scandals, and all that stuff.
Or another one I just thought of now. There's a tight end for the Raiders right now called Devin Waller, I want to say. And they did like Hard Knocks a couple years ago. He was saying like I was doing all sorts of pills, downers, whatever I could get my hands on. I just didn't want to do that and be high. And then they cut the footage from like a Ravens practice where Coach Harbaugh was like, hey, you doing all right? Come on, get in the game. And it was like, okay, they have the footage of him being high while he's talking about that time. And he's clean now, but yeah. I mean, addiction's powerful, man.
It really
And,
is.
like, getting high is an escape.
Exactly. And, especially if you're going through a lot of pain, that escape is a lot easier than dealing with it.
Yeah. I mean, from other stories I've heard of people doing heroin, like they say, like as soon as the needle hits and the stuff goes in, they're just like instantly everything goes away and melts away and all that stuff. And,
Is it kind of like the euphoric feeling we see in that one scene where Jim is just running through the flowers?
Like some 90s music video or something. Like some really, really creative, like trippy scenes and like camera work for some of this stuff. So definitely good points to this film for that. Yeah. I'd assume. I don't know. I'm not a junkie, bro.
I mean, if you think about it, I mean, they were very lucky they didn't die from it.
Extremely.
Like, especially being that young. I remember when I was in college, my senior year, 2 people died of heroin overdose.
Jesus.
Like not even 3 days apart.
It's a fucking mess, man.
It is.
It's
like
fucking sad as hell.
Like one day everything's normal. Next day, like this huge crackdown in the school going like, all right, got to make sure there's a point being made.
Yeah, as if the point hasn't already been made, right?
Yeah, I mean, guess what? You don't know where these drugs are coming from, and you don't know what the dealer is doing with them. They could be in. A lot of times when they're doing the drugs, they're probably putting in something extra to pack it up to make it look a lot fuller than it's supposed to be.
100%, or like cutting it with like fentanyl and like salt or whatever.
Yeah, and guess what? That wrong combination comes up. It could be your time.
And if you're like a junkie looking for the fix, you're just like, get it in me now. Get it in. And you're not testing it in the lab first.
No. I mean, yeah, and great examples were when Jimmy and Mickey went to go buy drugs from that one guy who they eventually chased down, and Mickey threw him off the roof. And on the top, it appeared like it was, good stuff. And then as they kept digging in, it turned out to be nothing. But imagine if it was like rat poison or something like that.
Yeah, and you're just injecting that into your fucking veins. Don't mess with your veins, people. Like, don't inject nothing. That's my advice for the children.
Drugs are bad, okay?
Drugs are bad. Unless they've been prescribed to you and you're taking them responsibly, don't do it.
Or you're ingesting legal, safe drugs that are allowed in your city, state, or country.
Yes. As long as it's legal and safe, don't do it. Don't fucking drink the wine coolers that your friends give you when you're skateboarding.
Yeah,
And you don't even know how to skateboard. You're just there for peer pressure. You made your mom buy you a skateboard because you're like, oh, I want to be like Bam Margera. And you got a fucking Bam board, and you go over there, and now you're drinking wine coolers and smoking cigarettes, even though beer tastes bad and cigarettes don't do anything.
Nah, cigarettes are fucking gross.
They are gross. As a former smoker for like a few months, it ain't good. Okay, I'll give some more details onto my cigarette habit. So, I used to work on the cruise ship, right? And
oh man,
so cigarettes are really cheap because we're out of U.S. territory, and it's duty free, right? Duty free cigarettes.
It's like alcohol. It's like nothing.
Yeah, so I was able to. It was a miserable job, or it was fun times, but we worked hard, and there were cheap drinks and cheap cigarettes. So, what you do after work, you go to the bar, get some drinks, but in the bar area, it's really loud and annoying. But where it's quiet is the smoking room. Because we weren't allowed to smoke on deck, so they had a room where we smoked cigarettes. So not only are you smoking cigarettes, you're smoking everyone else's backhand smoke because you're in some smoky ass room on a ship. It was like the 60s. It was insane. And I don't, and not insane in like a this is really cool way, but man, this still happens in the 2000s. Smoking room.
Yeah, even in casinos.
Oh yeah. Oh really? Like
Yeah.
they have smoking rooms?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like
On
I remember.
land?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when I was walking by most casinos, people were smoking around the whole place. Because there would
true.
be some casinos you just walk right through and all you smell is smoke.
Yeah, because there are some like hookah places where like people go and smoke the hookah.
Yeah, but hookah is like in the glass thing, so that the smoke doesn't really like. And plus, the hookah smoke is not even close to how bad cigarette smoke is.
Yeah, well, cigarettes you just end up feeling stale. I don't know. There's just that stale cigarette energy around you and aroma, and definitely woke up a lot of times smelling of booze and cigarettes. Welcome to the cruise, baby.
Woo! I mean,
Woo!
that's a lot of
Like
jobs, right?
The glamorous life.
I remember when back in my army days, like half the people I knew were either smoking cigarettes or doing dip. And let me tell you, dip
Ew,
is the
gross,
most disgusting thing in the fucking world.
Fuck that. I'd rather smoke 100 cigarettes than do some dip.
Yeah, dip is really bad, and guess what? It's just one of those habits that bores out of boredom. So guess what? Half the time, we're just like hanging out, shooting the shit, and there's not much going on.
And then you see someone spit up a hawk of Black Death. Ugh.
What you would see is them spitting into a bottle all the tobacco. So yeah. So yeah, watching people dip is very gross. And honestly, I would say like 80% of the people who I knew dipped.
I mean, I'll give them a pass because being in the army, I understand, is really difficult. But Jesus, no dip. No dip.
That's
also,
bad
never
for your teeth.
Yeah, super bad for your teeth. And I'm also like snorting is just a terrible sensation, and I would never do that. Like fuck that. I just no.
Yeah, it's like
Gross.
It's like being sick. You hate snorting. It's because it hurts.
Ugh. All right, I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done. Mom, I'm not gonna smoke cigarettes.
Mom.
Give
me some fucking money, Mom. I'm your
Give me my
son.
chicken tenders. No, the spicy ones. No, damn it, Mom.
Can we just talk about my favorite scene where
Yes.
Jimmy, Mickey, and Pedro break into the candy store. They load up on all the candy, and at the same time, while Mickey and Jimmy are trying to open up the cash register, you just have Pedro over here making himself some ice cream. He's like, "Oh, wow, this is a real ice cream scoop." Oh, just putting ice cream in, and he makes himself.
That's some straight up high people shit, where it's like, "Whoa, look at all this food, bro." Man, let's get some fucking ice cream, dude. Let's make some root beer floats, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm floating right now. Oh man, I'm like a real life root beer float.
I'm just floating in here, man. This is trippy.
Man, aren't we all just floating through space on our own journey, bro? We're all on our own path. And I just don't feel like I want to be constrained by society.
Bro, you just gotta ride your wave, bro. Wave. Bro,
I feel like an ocean wave sometime, bro.
Oh, I can touch the clouds.
And so, yeah. Pedro's doing all this while the other two guys are trying to fucking rob the place.
And then after they're trying to make a break for it from, they hear the cops are coming. Fucking Pedro's just, taking another sip. And Mickey's like, I dare you, Pedro, take one more fucking sip. I fucking dare you. And then he takes another sip, and then fucking Mickey pistol whips Pedro.
Oh, because he finds the gun in the store.
Yep, he finds the gun in the store, pistol whips Pedro, and then as they're about to... Mickey just dips. He doesn't care about Pedro. And then Jimmy tries to come back for him, but it's too late because the cops they just break into the store. So Jimmy and Mickey and Pedro broke in the back. The cops broke into the front. It's just hilarious how the cops handle that situation. They just their first instinct is to break the window.
Oh yeah, they break the window and then they just drive the fuck away.
Yeah, no investigation,
no one stays
nothing.
by the crime scene. Anyone could just easily go back in and rob the place. They're we got him. Let's go. It's so dumb.
It was one guy. He acted alone.
Oh, despite the fact he was calling another guy's name, and we totally saw that dude in the doorway.
We totally saw him, but out of sight, out of mind.
I made eye contact with Leonardo DiCaprio, but I'm pretty sure this Mexican guy did it.
Oh man, as soon as he saw ethnicity, he knew who to arrest.
That Dave Chappelle skit, where it's oh! Wow, looks like this black guy went into a house and put up pictures of his family.
I knew that was the scene you're going to talk about as soon as you said it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Hurry up, Johnson. Sprinkle some crack on him.
Looks like this Mexican boy wanted some ice cream.
Oh
man.
It was just a great scene, and the culmination of Pedro being another victim of, being forgotten. Because Pedro took a steep turn from, he seemed like he wasn't really part of it, and then, he went to this, he just ascended upon being this straight up drug user.
Oh yeah, and still addicted at the end of the film.
Yeah, he was. He still wanted to get high at the end, especially even after coming out of jail too.
Yeah, well, you see that disconnect a couple times in this film, especially in where Leo talks to that woman that was asking them for drugs and I'll give you a blowjob for $10 earlier, and he's addicted, but she's clean and gets her little revenge, and then you have Leo clean and Pedro is on it, and just a disconnect with we're friends, but I'm not gonna go do drugs with you. So, and if you're not gonna go do drugs with me, we're not gonna hang out.
Do you want to really hang out with somebody who's doing heroin all the time?
Fuck no. But
exactly.
It's just people who don't do drugs don't want to hang out with people who do drugs, and people who do drugs don't want to hang out with people who don't do drugs.
The vicious circle.
The circle of drugs, and that's our Dare presentation for today. Stay off the wine coolers.
No wine coolers for you.
So I don't know if I had another scene in my head that I want to. Well, I do like Reggie. I just want to shout out Reggie. He's a good guy. The guy who sort of a mentor to in a way to Jimmy, tries to get him clean, but as you hear with a lot of stories of people who try to get someone else clean, it's just a battle that you're not going to win very often, because whoever's using is going to find a way to keep using. So, and I like that he found Jimmy out in the snow, brought him in, and a guy who doesn't have much, probably living in the same poor neighborhood of New York, but doing his best for this young kid.
Yeah, and it's tough, a lot of times that first time getting clean isn't going to take effect. Sometimes it's going to be a couple of times, or till he hits rock bottom.
Because who the hell wants to live in real life, man?
Yeah, and after that, it's we saw that scene you were talking about, where the girl who was clean and Jimmy, who was now the one begging for money, and then we see him descend into doing things that he himself didn't even think he would be doing,
Yeah,
Like,
they beat up an old lady.
not even the beating up the old lady. I'm talking about when he takes that guy to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, he lets a guy suck his dick.
Yeah, he lets a guy perform fellatio on him, which I was like, isn't it supposed to be the other way around where the crackhead does it? Oh,
No,
anyways.
There's some weird fetishes, man. I've heard that same story from other heroin users, where like, that was their this one guy's rock bottom point, was letting a guy suck his dick, and then he got robbed for the money that he got, so he didn't get high that day.
That's one of the sad things, you do things that you would never in any other form.
It's that lure. And then he comes back and Mick's like, "Hey, where'd you get that money?" He's like, "Oh, I robbed a guy."
Well, you don't want to tell people.
Let some old dude suck his dick. Well, this is after the coach tries to do it for him.
Yeah, and let's even talk a little bit about Swifty and
Swifty the pervert.
Swifty the pervert, like you could definitely tell he was trying really hard to.
Oh yeah,
get
early
Leo.
on he's like, "Hey, come to my house. I'll help you get into college."
We all know what that's code word for, Swifty.
Blowjobs.
Blowjobs equal college. Confirmed.
Hey. And that's the Jose life story. I was going to make it about me, but I decided to target you. I'm sorry.
Straight up targeted.
Yeah.
I can confirm there were 0 blowjobs for me to get into college.
Yeah.
This is the people's truth facts.
And
I am your host.
People have spoken.
But yeah, I mean, besides that, the person whose life the story was based off, he did die in 2009. Jim Carroll died at the age of 60.
Rest in peace.
So rest in peace. He was a very well-known poet. His greatest work was, of course, the Basketball Diaries. I believe it came out in 1978, and then it became this movie in 1995.
Good on him for not only turning his life around, but telling his story and hopefully encouraging other people not to go down that path.
Yeah, I mean, but it's always one thing. We're always one slip away from not having a normal life. So that descent can happen, and it can happen very quickly.
Ain't that the fucking truth, man?
But anything else you want to talk about, or you ready to review this?
Not particularly. I think. Oh man, I'll give this movie a thumbs up. Entertaining, good message. If a little goofy and has the weird scenes and there's a scene where he shoots a bunch of people in his school. Dream sequence, or drug-induced dream sequence, so a couple of weird things like that, but I think overall, entertaining film with a good message, so I gotta give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I'll agree with Dylan. Thumbs up movie.
The most thumbs up I've ever given, not like a high thumbs, I don't know, but a thumbs up, watch it.
I'm giving it a thumbs up because I think it's a movie you should watch at least once, but otherwise, I think it's see it once, get over it. You could laugh at Marky Mark's acting for a bit. He's still very young and very raw.
Fucking Marky Mark guy.
Fucking Marky Mark kid. And it's just an important story to, be seen and heard.
Hey, dude, why didn't Marky Mark wear a fucking Red Sox hat in that fucking movie?
Hey, he didn't wear a Yankees fucking hat the whole time.
Why was there a moment where he said, "Hey, fuck the Yankees, fuck all y'all. Jeter sucks, baby.
It's like
Jeter can suck my fucking dick."
What's his name? Jack Nicholson. When he did The Departed, he never wore a Red Sox hat because he hates the Red Sox.
Because he's a fucking piece of shit, dude. He's a fucking Yankees fan. Yeah, Red Sox. Nomar Garcia Parra guy. Dude, when I see Nomar hit a fucking home run.
I don't know if he's a Yankees fan, but I know he's a Lakers fan, so that could have also played into it.
Yeah. Maybe it's just that anti-Boston hatred, which, I get. I get people, but
we get it, we are.
We fucking hate you right back. Whoa, sports.
When you win so much, it's hard to see the little people on the outside.
When you were born a winner, like us people born in New England where it's cold all the time, we just don't even think about the little people.
The little people don't matter to us.
So we should rename the podcast to the Boston's People Review.
Exactly. And then we'll finally have all the true fans.
Yeah,
listening.
yeah. Motherfuckers.
Just kidding. We love all the people's reviews.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's called the People's.
Exactly.
It's plural.
And totally not because Boston People's Review was already taken or anything like that.
Totally not. But,
So Dylan, what is the movie we will be watching next week? Since there will be no coin flip time because it is Spooky Month.
ooh. Well, the movie we will be watching is... Scream.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Flintstones.
The Flintstones, the Rubber Dubber Family. I don't remember the words to that song. Or is that
On
the Jetsons?
the town of Bedrock, we're gonna something, 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 something. Copyright here.
Hey, Fred, want to do this? Want to drink these wine coolers?
Hey, Barney, that's just gonna lead you to old-timey heroin.
Hey, Bonnie, I don't think you should drink those. What if the wife sees you? Whatever those people were called, I don't even remember.
Let's not forget the great Rick Moranis played Barney in one of them.
Oh, wow. Good old Rick Moranis.
And John Goodman was also Fred in one of those movies. That was the times where
Was this a live action movie or what?
yeah,
was
there was a live action. There was 2 live action movies. There was one called The Flintstones Go to Vegas, and there was just one called The Flintstones. They both had different characters for both movies, but they both were live action movies.
Why do you know so much about the Flintstones?
Because I love the Flintstones. When I was a kid, I used to love the Flintstones.
It is good.
It is.
Those, yeah, definitely watch a lot of those episodes. Is there a Flintstones horror, like Halloween themed movie?
I have
Like
no idea.
made for TV film or something?
Probably not. Not that I can think of.
I mean, we'll have to do our research because it's spooky.
Yeah, well, we could always watch Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin. That's always a choice.
Well, the thing is, like, horror. I don't like jump scares, right? Big thing in horror movies, and they just stress me out. Like, because it's not the fact that whatever's jumping out is scary. It's just that I don't like being startled, and like,
I feel you.
yeah. But I mean, I can appreciate like horror movies like the Witch. That was pretty good. The Vivitch.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember one scary movie I watched when I was a kid. It involved a clown. I have no idea what it's called, but I remember for like a month straight I couldn't sleep because that stupid fucking clown was in my head. No, it wasn't it. It was a different one.
It too. I don't.
It too.
I don't know.
Electric Boogaloo.
Clowns come to town.
I remember it was a clown. It involved ice cream. I think that was a clown.
The Ice Cream Man?
Nah, I don't remember what it was called, but I remember for a month straight, I could not fall asleep because all I could see was that stupid fucking clown.
You know what traumatized me as a kid? It's not a horror movie, but watching my oldest brother play Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation, or maybe it was N64, but one of those, that scared me. And for some reason, like, up until like mid-teens, I was like still stressed out whenever that game came on, and like it was, and those graphics are terrible. But as a kid, it scarred me.
Yeah, like I remember playing Halo the first time, and when I got to the part where the flood is, I didn't play that. It took me like 2 years to beat the first Halo because I couldn't play the game until like I had my cousin with me, and we both like just like ran through the whole campaign.
This was on Legendary, I presume.
Oh no, this was on easy. We
Gotcha.
were really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also terrible at Halo, as you know, but yeah. And then you made me be on Legendary. You jerk.
Hey, you're welcome.
Yeah, I got those achievements. So
Exactly. Achievements, that's all that matters in life.
it's all that matters in life. Stop doing drugs. Just go get achievements.
Exactly. Video game achievements.
Yeah, Xbox.
Steam.
GOG.
Pass.
Google Stadia.
Nintendo. Switch achievements. Yeah, woo.
Oh, the Wii U. Remember the Wii U?
Dreamcast. Woo.
PlayStation 3. The power of the cell, baby. I own a cell processor. I don't know
This
if you
guy.
know this. I own a cell processor.
Can you believe at one point that was like the biggest marketing, and still
The
no one knew
power
what the
of the
fuck it
cell.
meant
No one knows what it means.
at
I
the
think-
time.
I remember some story a few years ago where someone was some people were gathering PS3s to use the power of the cell for some sort of
Oh, my
some sort
school
of
did that.
computer project.
My school did that. They had like 100 PS3s all combined, and they made a server out of it to do
Why?
something.
Why would you do that?
I don't fucking know. A bunch of scientists got a bunch of PlayStation 3s because I think they had something about the Jaguar CPU really powerful. So they got I remember because I walked by that thing like a few dozen times.
And you were like, why? Who the hell bought all these PS3s and why? He bought all the PS3s.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things you just do because, guess what? PlayStation. If you make an article about PlayStation, guess what? It's going to get a lot of views because it has PlayStation in it. You're probably going to hit a worldwide audience, let's be honest.
Yeah, you should title this podcast PlayStation.
Sony's PlayStation presents Basketball Diaries.
No, we can't do that. We probably cannot do that.
You're right. Xbox presents
Oh yeah, Xbox rules, dude.
B-Ball Diaries.
Xbox rules, PlayStation drools. Says the man who owns PlayStation 2, 3, and 4.
Let's be honest. Console wars mean nothing to us. We
Yeah,
just
very
care about a
true.
good time.
And that's what the People's Review is. A damn good time. And where can people follow us to join in on the good time, Jose?
Well, guess what, good people? You can follow us on Twitter at The People's Review.
The People's Review.
That's with a DA,
Yeah, I did
just
that
like the
'cause
district attorney.
it was like the character maximum for a username. And The People's Review didn't fit.
And you could also follow us on YouTube. You could listen to our podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, and also Apple Podcasts.
Ooh, baby. And we'll be back next week having a scream of a time. Watching Scream.
And now, Dylan, it's time for us to head down to the basement and go into this room where all those other guys are waiting for us to
Fucking finally, let's
party.
go. Let's go, I'm out of here. I'm ditching this podcast.
Later, squares.
Motherfuckers.
Shut up and sit down.